topics are on the table with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, Meghan McCain, and Anna Navarro. Now, let's get things started.
Now, Whoopi, I know you're watching.
Good morning.
Whoopi is watching today.
Red Hot ladies.
Yep.
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm
sorry.
Whoopi is watching. She's at the doctor's. I heard she's watching. So, hi, Whoopi. Let's say hi, Whoopi.
We miss you so much.
We miss you, and we hope you come back soon. Feel better. Okay. So, Anna is here, Anna Navarro.
Yes.
And, you know, we have a lot to discuss about her wedding because she got married over the weekend, right? But we don't want, we're going to save that.
Is this your honeymoon?
What?
Is this your honeymoon?
No.
Well, I gotta work to pay those bills.
But we're not going to talk about the wedding yet because there's this really hot story going around right now where there's a documentary about Michael Jackson and people want to talk about it. So maybe you should get the kids out because this is like really kind of gross. I, in fact, could not even bring myself to watch Leaving Neverland. I couldn't watch it. The HBO documentary where two men make sickening allegations about how Michael Jackson groomed them as children so he could engage in years of child sex abuse. This is the new allegation starting when one of them was just, I can't even say it, 7 years old. It makes me sick. Take a look.
Once the abuse started, within that first week, you know, every night that I was with him, there was abuse while my mother was, you know, next door.
At the same time, the sexual relationship is growing. He's working on pushing you away from your parents, pushing you away from everybody else, and it feels more like it's just you and him. I was really into jewelry, and he would reward me with jewelry for doing sexual acts for him.
So, you know, Michael Jackson was by far the biggest superstar in the world at that time. I don't even think there's an equivalent to him today. If these allegations are true, is that how he was able to get away with it? Because people were taken by the cult of celebrity. You know, what do you think about that? I mean, how is this?
God, it's so upsetting, and I think it's, you know, it's so upsetting for us who grew up with him. That, right? We're that generation who, for us, he was larger than life, and somebody whose songs we know and we still hear too. And so, you know, we keep hearing about these stories over and over and over again. I think we have to say thank you to all the victims who have started to speak. I think part of this is happening now because of the Me Too movement, because it's giving courage to people like Chrissy Blasey Ford, like victims of pedophilia by priests, like victims of pedophilia and predatory behavior by celebrities to come out and say the truth. It's a different time, but I'm with you. It's very hard to hear and process.
It is. I mean, you know, I spent a lot of my career prosecuting child sex cases, and I think one of the things that people will have trouble with is that during the sex abuse trial against Michael Jackson, a lot of these boys, now men, testified that nothing happened. And so people, I think, now are reluctant to believe them. But I will say that, you know, only 12% of child sex abuse cases are ever reported to the authorities.
How many?
Only 12%. And that is because sex abuse victims, and especially children, believe that they will not be believed. They don't have the language to even explain what has happened to them.
Even when women are molested or attacked,
they don't come forward. They don't think they're going to be believed, and they feel that the perpetrator will come out against them. And you got to imagine that these people that are grooming them sexually, they're taking the place, they're supplanting the place of their parents. So there are a lot of levels involved, and trauma as to why they would lie. And I agree with you, Anna. There are so many people that are coming forward. Think about R. Kelly's victims that have come forward now. And so there's a real reckoning going on. I have friends that are still prosecuting these cases, and they're saying people are finally coming forward. You know, we'll see what happens to Michael Jackson's legacy, because I think he's been so beloved. His music is so beloved. Will people sort of cancel Michael Jackson? Remember, there was this movement, hashtag cancel R. Kelly or mute R. Kelly. Will people now stop listening to him? I don't know what the answer
completely.
If you turned on his song right now, any of his, I mean, I love Michael Jackson's music. If you turn that on in the room right now, right here, I'd walk out. I would walk out. And I don't think that there will ever be a point in my life where I hear his hits and not think about this. This is all allegedly. And according to these now men's stories back in the day, it's brainwashing. It's brainwashing. You make them believe. And he was gentle. They all say that. He was kind. But he made them believe that he was the only person that could love them that way, that could give them what they wanted. I got to tell you, we've watched so many documentaries in the past 2 years because it's sort of been this movement in this time, and it's all coming to the surface. This was the hardest one for me to watch.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I didn't sleep Monday night. It was, maybe it's the hormones, but like a 7-year-old boy who is now talking. And maybe it's because I looked at my 1.5-year-old in the eye and I think, you stole their innocence. If this is true, if what these boys are saying is true, you took their innocence, you took their life, you took someone's baby's life.
It's a horrible thing.
So watch it. It is very disturbing.
But it was in front of it was going on, in my opinion. I mean, didn't he tell Martin Bashir that boys was sleeping with him?
I was going to say,
yeah.
I didn't grow up with Michael Jackson, but I did grow up with Wade Robson because he was a famous choreographer with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. He's responsible for the Britney Spears Snake performance at the VMAs. I had a huge crush on him when I was younger. He was a big part on MTV. He's a big dancer. And I knew Michael Jackson. Obviously, I knew his music, but I remember watching the Martin Bashir documentary in high school where he said, it's very charming, it's kind, kids want to be loved, they want to be touched, they want to be held. I remember watching this documentary with my high school boyfriend and being like, he is a pervert. So I've been done with Michael Jackson for a while. It is a very hard documentary to watch. I watched all 4 hours, as you know, as well. I watched Oprah's interview afterward. The people who are shaming Oprah and Wade Robson and James Safechuck, I don't understand it. I don't understand, and there's a big backlash towards this documentary and Oprah as well.
They don't want to believe it.
I understand we don't want to. They're inconvenient realities of our icons and of people in pop culture and people in these situations. But I believe James Safechuck and Wade Robson. I believe that Wade Robson didn't want to come forward because he was a big hit maker. He was at the top of his choreographer career as well, and he didn't want to be known as the kid who was molested by Michael Jackson. And when you're talking about the shaming, that is how I interpreted what he was saying.
And they still look pretty traumatized. And for those of you who haven't seen it, you should see it because that's the other thing. Allegedly, they feel traumatized, and then they you know, to sort of push the story away and say, I don't want to look at them, I don't want to hear them. You're erasing and devaluing their experience and what happened to them.
It's traumatic for the entire family. Think about how excruciating this has got to be for the parents to be hearing it.
Two of them committed suicide.
You know, it's a lesson for parents everywhere. You know, be suspicious. You know, put your children first. Nothing comes above the kids. Not relationships with celebrities, not money, not relationships with teachers. Be suspicious and protect your kids above everything.
But this is my problem with this. The Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, Hasidic communities, they're all allegations of pedophilia scandals going on in this as well. So it's not just fame and fortune where the gross and inconvenient and disgustingness of pedophilia is happening. It's happening everywhere culturally.
Epidemic.
It is an epidemic.
It's our least protected in our society are the elderly and children, and we have to do more about it.
Gotta be vigilant with your kids.
I do have a legal note. Jackson's family and estate have denied all the allegations against him. The estate is suing HBO for $100 million, and on behalf of the family, attorney Howard Weitzman stated this: HBO chose to fund and produce a film where they knew the two subjects had for many years testified under oath and told family, friends, and law enforcement that Jackson did nothing inappropriate to either of them. The Jackson family said in a statement, "The facts don't lie, people do. Michael Jackson was and always will be 100% innocent of these false allegations."
And when we
Wait, can I say one more thing? For whatever it's worth, Macaulay Culkin and Corey Feldman both say this didn't happen to them, and they were obviously young boys around him at the time.
Just because, and they do say that, but just because it didn't happen to them does not negate that this may have happened to these other two boys.
I agree.
I'm going back to the Martin Bashir interview. Someone was discussing this morning. When you say that, well, little young boys are in bed with a grown man, a bell should go off in the parents.
Well, here's what, just before we go, one of the mothers, James' mom said, I didn't protect my son. That will always haunt me. I had one job. I had one child. I screwed up. She said, I danced when I heard that he died. I was laying in bed. The news came on, and I was, oh, thank God, he can't hurt any more children. I was so happy that he died. That was from the mom years later.
All right. Okay, we got that over with. When we come back, we're going to lighten things up and talk about Anna's fabulous wedding this weekend, because you won't believe who we were hanging out with. And I've got the pictures to prove it.
This week, this is where strong women are bringing their views. Ann Tamblyn, Ricki Lake, Captain Marvel herself, Oscar winner Brie Larson, Annette Bening. And Friday, we're honoring International Women's Day, because the only place in daytime to see the two women behind this powerful Oscar-winning documentary is on The View. Still ahead, American Idol's Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and Ryan Seacrest are taking over The View.
Welcome back. So, Anna Navarro, this weekend you joined the ranks of those of us who are so blissfully married. How does it feel today, darling?
Why do you think I'm here? No, listen, it was wonderful. I'm about to write a book, I think, on how to plan a wedding if you're old and busy and have no time.
That's her
no,
father.
this is, and it's, you know, one of the most special times, I think, for any daughter is to be able to be walked down the aisle by her daddy, and I am a daddy's girl. It was really important for me, for my mom to be there. She's been in very frail health. And to be surrounded by people who I like and like me, who I love, to feel the support. I was really humbled by people who traveled from all over the country and all over the world to be with us. I wanted it to be fun. I mean, we danced till the feet hurt.
Yeah.
I've been having nightmares. I literally had a nightmare. You know, because there were a lot of news people there, right? A lot of CNN folks, a lot of folks from ABC. I had a nightmare that Bob Mueller had dropped the report during my wedding. and everybody had fled, you know, for the scene. So I'm very, very happy.
They just showed a picture of Romney. Romney was there. Mitt Romney was there. Yeah. And
your new BFF.
I said to him, I said, hi, I'm Joy Behar, one of the sharp-tongued women from The View. Because that's what he called us when at the time. And
which part of sharp-tongued woman from The View is inaccurate?
Nothing. It is accurate. And I even said to him, you know, I wish that you were president right now instead of Donald Trump. And he said, so do I.
Yeah. Well, wait, though. So I get
very friendly.
Very friendly. Joy comes out during the morning, and it's Miami Beach, and it's very sunny. And Joy's wearing these like humongous glasses, dark glasses, but they're not prescription. And Don Lemon and I are sitting together. And Joy, Joy can't see, by the way.
I can't.
And Joy goes, Don Lemon is with me. Sonny?
It was way far away.
First
of all, it was way far away. He was wearing a hat. She always wears a hat. Oh, he's skinny like her. It's not that big a deal.
In her defense, I was on my way to meet everybody, but
What do you remember
Don
most about
didn't
the
have
whole
a
day?
shirt on. So
Like, when you look back on the weekend, what will be the biggest memory?
You know, everything, I mean, we worked so hard on this in a very short time, and everything came out exactly like I wanted. And it felt perfect. The flowers looked gorgeous beyond what I expected. I didn't try the food because I was too worried I would burst out of my dress. That was another nightmare I had. But everybody who did told me it was terrific, and I really just loved the vibe. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted people to dance, to celebrate, to have a good time. I mean, we literally had to like kick people out of there at 1 or 2 in the morning, and that's what I remember most.
Well, that was with Sonny and I with Wolf, and I'm like this. What's this?
Wolf was dancing. We were dancing. I don't know.
I'm like, oh, hi. I don't know.
Wolf Blitzer has moved.
I was dancing with Wolf, man.
Yes, he
That was
does.
good.
I'm sorry, I love the pony.
And
Do you
know
like
who-
my pony?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was too much. But
You
I
actually
love
look
Pony.
like Sofia Vergara.
Please,
in
it's
that
a room
photo.
full of
Yeah.
buttons. Of course, nothing's too much.
That's what I figured, right?
There is no such
And
thing
by the way,
as
she
too
had
much.
fireworks at the end of the wedding, and it was
Yeah.
Sign, Seal, Deliver,
Subtle,
I'm
very
Yours
subtle.
was playing, and I thought it was amazing.
Understated.
Amazing.
There you go.
I love
That's
the
so Anna.
Okay, but we have to go now. But when we come back, we'll talk politics. We'll be right back.
Are you fashionably late getting to viewyourdeal.com? Then go there now, because we partnered with vendors for at least half off spring styles you want to be in this season.
Welcome back. Whoopi, are you still watching? I wonder. House Democrats are casting the net wide, demanding documents from more than 80 people and institutions affiliated with Trump. They're focusing on obstruction of justice, public corruption, and abuse of power. So is this the right move, or could this backfire on them like it did when the Republicans wouldn't stop investigating Bill Clinton for the, you know what he did?
Not sure. Well, I think for me, it's hard to tune into which investigation is going on. And there's one for Robert Mueller, the Southern District of New York, District of Columbia, Eastern District of Virginia, New York City, New York State, and the House Judiciary Committee. So there's a lot of investigations going on.
Yeah.
And I do think Democrats are just throwing out to see if something sticks. There is the possibility that they could get out over their skis or overshoot the runway and possibly do what happened to Bill Clinton in the 90s. I am sort of sick of living in hypotheticals. I would love the Mueller report to be released right this second, so we can find out some information
I'm
about
okay
what
with that now that
happened.
the wedding is over.
Okay.
You're right. Right. Then what about Southern District? They're the ones who are really going to get them, I think.
Well, can I show a clip of AOC really quick?
Sure.
Well, he's talking collusion, collusion, collusion. I think in oversight, we should be talking about taxes, 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 and his bank account, his bank account, his bank account, his financial statements, statements.
This is just going off of what she did during the hearing, the Michael Cohen hearing.
Right.
She's on the right track. Follow the money.
Follow
Stop
the money.
worrying about collusion. And again, I'm highly critical of her, but on this stuff in particular, I think she's tonally
Well, if
where
you look at
Democrats should be.
history, follow the money got Nixon and it got Al Capone.
Yeah. And I've been saying it from the very beginning. I've been saying this is about campaign finance law, the hush money, you know, the workaround so that he would sort of elude and, you know, the American public's perception of having an affair with a porn star right after your wife just had a baby. He didn't want the American people to know that about him. I think we need to look at the emoluments clause, the fact that he is still lining his pockets and putting his financial interest before the interests of our country. I think that is where we need to go. And if you're the oversight committee, that's what you need to focus on.
Yeah, focus on that one thing. I think that this is going to backfire on Democrats because it is so broad. It's like they threw the kitchen sink out there. They're going to look
Committed
into
a
like
lot of crimes, possibly.
yeah, but I think I think there are enough American people out there that don't even like Trump that will say this is too much, and the Democratic Party needs to focus on what their 2020 is around the corner. What is their main platform? How do they win an election?
That is
how they're going to be most successful. But how about you learn from history? As we've all said, this was not a winning solution for Republicans going against Bill Clinton.
Yeah, but that was
Focus on
they
one
didn't find
thing.
it.
was with one woman. This guy's screwing the whole country.
Right. No, but look, here's
It's different.
Here's something that we have to keep in perspective. We're talking about different committees, right? So the Intelligence Committee, I think, has got a duty to investigate whether this campaign of Trump's colluded with Russia. And what in the hell is this compromise that they've got on him that he keeps coddling to this, you know, murderous dictator, oligarch in Russia? That's one committee.
Right.
The Oversight Committee, I think, should do what Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez is saying they do and what you guys are saying and follow the money. There are two different things. And, you know,
Collusion is not a crime, though, and that makes me angry as well, because I actually think if you collude with a foreign adversary, you know I have the problems I have with it, but it is not a crime.
But conspiracy to collude is. And I
But
think
you just said collusion.
Yeah,
So.
but collusion, and that's why Trump is using that. That's why he's saying collusion. There's not going to be any collusion because he's duping the American people. And while textbook, it's not a crime, conspiracy with a foreign
and also
government
remember
is.
that when you have a congressional investigation, it might lead to legislation. For example, you know, if this oversight committee comes up with something, perhaps they should have legislation that requires presidential candidates to release their taxes.
Yeah.
That should be
I
a
think that'll-
requirement
going
to run
forward,
for
don't you-
president.
I think that will happen going forward.
Only if it's law.
Well, they have to.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to say
it was
one thing.
optional for Trump.
I want Sunny Hostin to put on your bio everywhere emoluments clause, because you really do bring this up.
I've been saying it.
Since I've worked here, you have been
About
the
2
person
years.
that has been on, and if that ends up being what gets him, you are the one that
Thank
has been
you.
seeing the alarm on it. 'Cause it comes up, you really just say it almost weekly. Sunny Hostin emoluments clause.
Yes.
That's your next bio.
If we're gonna get him,
You don't
the
want it to be.
Republicans ain't gonna
All right,
vote.
I have to go. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
It's true though.
Up next, American Idol judges Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan, and host Ryan Seacrest. On the most emotional high notes of the new season.
Or 15 years old, are just sitting in the basement somewhere collecting dust. You may be missing out on a cash award or settlement. Call the professionals at Hochman and Plunkett. We'll find your workers' compensation file and we'll find your award or settlement. Call Hochman and Plunkett today, 937-228-2666, or check us out on the web at hochmanplunkett.com. We'll find your file and we'll find your award.
Trust doesn't come easy. It's earned with gentle compassion. It's built through hard work and strengthened by tireless dedication. At Kettering Health Network, we feel the weight of your trust, and we honor it by dedicating our every resource into every patient, every single day. When minutes matter, it matters where you place your trust. Visit one of Kettering Health Network's 10 emergency centers and trust your care to us.
One of the most popular reality competition shows ever is back on the hunt for the next American Idol. And here are the people who are going to make one lucky singer's wildest dreams come true. Please welcome host Ryan Seacrest and judges Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie. We generally hug, but since there are so many of you, we couldn't figure out how to.
All people. I want to hug all of you.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out how to maneuver the hugging, so we were like, just sit down.
Down goes Katy.
These pants are kind of slippery.
Well, and these stools are not the easiest. No.
What did you do
got
in
it?
the 70s?
We slid off the chair.
Slouchy.
But we had our platform shoes to protect us.
That's right.
There we go. Well, Katy, we hear that congratulations are in order. Right? You are now engaged to your then boyfriend, now fiance, Orlando Bloom. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Were you surprised? Was it planned?
Of course I was surprised, and I was really surprised when my mother posted all the pictures on Facebook.
Oh,
Oh my, no, it was okay. Moms always get a pass. I think they get a pass for this
They
type
do.
of stuff.
They
but,
do.
Yeah, it was lovely. It's been lovely. It's a whole different feeling.
Well, congratulations. And the last well, the last time you were on the show was in 2008. I just found out. Believe it or not.
You've been hiding.
Yes. Well, there you go for the release of your first mega hit, "I Kissed a Girl."
Oh my gosh, that was before all my plastic surgery.
And apparently this happened.
What the?
She's gonna.
I like it.
The ratings have gone down.
But when that song came out, I mean, it was just such a huge hit. When did you realize, wow, I've made it?
For all of us, and Ryan, you host a lot of things, so you would probably know that something like hosting the Oscars is like touching the ceiling. You know, you're like scared of it. You want to do it, but you don't want to do it, but you got to do it at some point in your life. The Super Bowl was definitely that moment for me. So I guess that was back when
you were amazing on the
Thank
Super
you.
Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was talking
Thank
about
you.
it.
When we were talking about hit songs, and I can't believe this, but We Are the World came out 35 years ago.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
such,
Amazing.
yes, amazing. Such a beautiful
example of people coming together. I think we could really use that right now. What do you remember from writing that song?
Well, you know, there's several amazing moments. I'll tell you one funny story. Ray Charles was asking during the ceremony, he said, I've got to stop and go to the bathroom. And so no one's ever heard this story, so I'm telling it to you now. You get an exclusive. And so Stevie said, it's down the hall and to the right.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
And so Ray said, oh, let me get this straight, honey. Let me get this straight now. You go down the hall. And Stevie said, I'll take you. So Stevie grabs Ray by the arm, walks out of the door, and Billy Joel turned to me, I forgot who it was, and said, did anybody see that? Did anybody hear that? He took him out to the... That's what happened.
Oh, amazing.
So that's what I remember most.
Wow. I got to give a shout out to my sister in the audience. She missed school to be here because she loves all of you. Gracie right there.
Hi, Gracie.
But she is especially the biggest fan of Luke Bryan. And she went to bed wearing your t-shirt last night, and I'm like, oh, this is very real.
No, this is real.
It's very real.
I'm blushing.
I know. But you know what? You're such a family guy, and they're even a part of your new music video. What Makes You Country? You've got two of your sons in it, your nephew in it. I want to know, being such a superstar, how you keep life so normal, because you're public. You talk about the ups and the downs.
Is it normal? I think it's funny you talk about that video, and we're sitting there and we're staging this campfire moment with me and my boys, and they physically start fighting and beating each other up. And it's, you know, so we get to video editing time, and they're like, well, we don't know whether we need to have the fight on. So we kind of manipulated how bad they were. But, you know, you have to separate them. But the main thing is, I think it's about having your core group of buddies that keep it real for you. But and you got to have your wife calling you out on your little
and she sure does.
Yes.
We love you, sweetie.
Very true. But I think it's about that core group. But then it's about just trying to have fun with all this stuff too. Have fun. You know, we try to, during the summers, sometimes I'll take one of my boys and bring them out on the road with me, and I call 2 days later and tell my wife she can have them back. But, you know, just trying to make time and spread it all out. And you get it right some days and you get it wrong some days. It's no different than a normal household. And but
you guys are always on some sort of venture though, like with your boys.
We adventure it up quite well. And I'm like one of those naive dads I'm like the Clark W. Griswold deal where you know I start with with good intentions and naiveness, and then it just
blows up.
it implodes on
You speak for all of us.
You never know what's going to happen when you're with a bunch of people, right? That's how we operate on The View.
Yeah, and look how many people are up here now.
I know, there's a lot. I know. But Ryan, you know, you have so many jobs, okay? How many jobs have you got?
Oh, I don't know.
We'll start on your hand and we'll end on your hand.
A handful.
I mean, you were hosting 2 red carpets for 2 different networks. When do you sleep?
I sleep at the same time you do, 9:29. I put my head on the pillow, I fall asleep, and I sleep quickly. But I've always done a lot at once. I mean, we were doing the American Idol auditions, and I would do Live with Kelly and Ryan in the morning, get on the plane, fly to Denver, shoot auditions in the afternoon, and fly back here.
That's crazy.
You know,
Phantom. He's the Phantom.
Yeah.
You really are.
What's the craziest day you've ever had?
I think these audition days are pretty crazy, where I'll get up and I'll do a talk show, a radio show for Los Angeles. I'll fly to the other side of the country for 3 hours of auditions with this gang, and then get back to be here for the next morning. When we do the show, we do it live on Sunday nights, and I fly overnight every weekend back and forth every 4 days to the West Coast. But I know I work best when I'm busy.
Is caffeine your friend?
Yes. Matter of fact, it's taking total self-control not to chug this right now.
We got to brag on Ryan because